Do you have an AI lab in your business? Well, if you don't, you should. And let me tell you why. With everything that's going on with AI, we need to watch, keep awareness of the news, of what's coming, what's new. We need to assess each one of these bits of news and understand if it's relevant for us today and we need to implement, roll out, if it's something that we need to keep watching, or if it's total news that's not relevant. And if we need to roll it out, we need to figure out how we educate the team about it and then what it does for us in terms of governance. Does it impact our policies? Is there a new risk we need to be aware of? And when any item came into, yes, this is impacting us, we need to roll it out, we need to look at it in two streams. One is upskilling everyone in the team. So if there is a new feature or capability in a tool that we're already using, say Microsoft Copilot now is able to schedule prompts, we need to make sure everybody understands, everybody is aware, and everybody spends some time thinking where that applies in their workflow and implementing that. Often it's very simple things, but if we don't take action to make sure it goes into everybody's workflow, it won't, and we're missing out. Sometimes we need to do a bit more work to experiment with something new that is not that easy to implement, but maybe needs a bit more technical knowledge or a bit more playing with to hack things together, to connect or to experiment, to see how it integrates with other systems, a bit more work. That's where the lab comes in. That's where we experiment with new tools, new capabilities, and see what they possibly mean for our process. And obviously then there's always impact to governance and policy. Browsers can now be autonomous. Do we allow that? Do we not? What should you be logged into and what are the risks? All of that comes out of there as well. So what does this lab look like? Well, if you're a very small team, it may just be a time allocation in your own calendar. If you're slightly larger, if you're 50 or 100-person team, it may be a group of 2 or 3 or 5 people who catch up regularly, identify what's happening, and run experiments to understand what's relevant, what's to play with, and what's to ignore. The single most important differentiator between those who make this happen well and those who don't is time allocation. If people have time in their calendar where they're allowed to do these experiments and they're expected to do the experiments and share it with a group, and they're not penalized for productivity, magic happens. And if we expect people to do it on the weekend or at lunch break or magically somehow, well, it's not going to happen. It's too hard. What are most labs busy doing right now? Well, on one side, monitoring the updates of the existing apps that you're using. So if it's Microsoft Copilot and now it can schedule prompt or save and reuse prompts or bring agents into a Teams chat, this lab will experiment with that, figure out how it works, get used to it, and then teach the rest of the team. If you're teaching 100 people how to use a new feature and that saves them 5 minutes each or makes one task uplift in quality by 10%, across 100 people, that is huge. That's one aspect. The other aspect is play with new things. And most of the labs that I'm involved in right now, even though the organization is working on Microsoft Copilot, they are now playing with Claude. Why Claude? Because Claude has now Claude Code and Claude Cowork and add-ins in all our Office apps and integrations into our Office apps that work significantly better than any of the built-in Microsoft capabilities. It shows us how to easily create agents, create automations without having to go through the complexity that is involved in achieving the same thing in the Microsoft environment. And so I'm not suggesting yet, maybe, that everyone should move to Claude. A lot of businesses are moving to Claude, but not in professional services. Consultants, marketing people, coders, all of those, everyone's moving to Claude now. Professional services still staying with Microsoft Copilot. Their labs are actually playing with Claude, creating automations, experimenting with agents, creating those co-workers, and primarily focusing on workflows and processes that don't involve a lot of confidential information and where we can separate and build good guardrails so the same agent doesn't have access to the external world and to our data, our internal confidential data, and to unsafe or unmonitored inputs where it can get something that looks like an instruction and that will get it to get some confidential data and send it to whoever or do something malicious internally. So these experiments are limited to the labs right now, where people are more informed about what's safe and what's not safe, but they will create readiness in those firms so that as those capabilities are maturing in Copilot, these firms will be ready. Many are also rolling out automations with Claude, even though their main tool is Microsoft Copilot, where they feel that that automation is safe enough to roll out. So right now, I'm not suggesting that we all drop Copilot and move to Claude, but I am suggesting that all our labs need to be experimenting with that. So how are you going to do that? Well, there's a lot of guides online. I am working on some internally, which I will share with my new community that's just about to launch, where we will do all of that together. So stay tuned. And what do you need to do today? 1, create that lab. If you're a multi-person business, identify those people. You already know who they are. They're those tinkerers that play with technology. They can come from anywhere in the organization. 2, time allocation. Give them time to work on this. It can be a half a day a week. It can be a half a day a month. I know firms that have a person that has a half of their time allocated just to be the lab, to experiment with things and to build automations. It's hard. It's usually also your best accountant or your best lawyer or the best person in your firm, but it's totally worth it. Number 3, they need to figure out how they're going to keep on top and what channels they're going to use internally to filter everything in. I'm developing a community now that I will launch by the end of June, where we will have these people come together, get updates together, do the assessment together, and share what they're experimenting with. So watch this space. And if you'd like to be included, reply to this email. We will add you to our wait list and we'll let you know when we're ready to launch.